thanks for joining us today on our podcast. This episode. It's one of the 60s.
68, I think.
So today we don't have like a set topic, but we wanted to talk about a few stories that we had from our wee little crouton days.
Yeah, so if you don't really care about filmmaking or entertainment culture that we usually talk about, we're just going to be telling stories on this one. We're going to help you guys. We're going to allow you guys to hear a little bit more about our backstories and some fun that we've had.
Yeah. So briefly we're going to talk about when we were wee little croutons, and I know if he watches this episode, which we probably will just tag him, Seth Parrish, and our time doing like Taekwondo.
Yeah.
What we did was that it was like a rec center, like a YMCA type thing.
Mm-hmm.
We would go, it was Monday, was it one time a week or two times?
2 times a week.
So Monday and
Thursdays.
Yeah,
I think it was Thursdays.
So what we did, we would just go, it was about an hour long, for sure. Yeah, an hour, and we would
do stretches
and like a little bit of exercising at the beginning, and then we would get into doing
like
something
sparring
else.
or learning different moves.
Yeah.
You know?
But we were wee little croutons. How old do you think we were? I mean, we were...
Was that before Boy Scouts or during?
Before during.
Before during?
Yes.
For you or for me? Because I started Boy Scouts when I was 11. You started when you were 10. Right?
It was during. Because I don't think we were doing Taekwondo that long, but I remember eventually Seth would just drive with us to Boy Scouts from Taekwondo.
Okay, so then we and we
would get there a little bit late to Taekwondo, to Boy Scouts, but we would be there primarily for the most of the meeting.
Yeah.
So it was like, I want to say like 6 to 7.
Then maybe I was like 12 and you were 10. It was probably right at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, at our ages. But yeah, it was pretty early on. And we started first. Me, you, and our sisters. We did this Taekwondo thing. We started first. The instructor was a character, man. I mean, he was a character. Tell us a little bit about him.
Well, he had like he was a very southern white guy, but he had like long hair, beard, I'm pretty sure, and like this dragon tattoo because he was really into Taekwondo and learning karate, I guess, but he was like a really redneck guy with long hair, basically.
Yeah, but he was fit. Like, he looked kind of, I don't know, I believe he also part-timed as a bar bouncer.
Bar bouncer?
Yeah, like someone who would kick someone out of a bar if they got too drunk.
Oh.
I think he did that on the side.
He might have.
I think he did. Okay. But yeah, we did it for a while, and I remember starting, and predominantly at the beginning, for majority of the class, we were just doing stretches, to try to become limber, and I never got there.
To this day,
I can't. I am so tight. I don't have any elasticity.
You need to do that. You need to do some stretching.
So
yoga. You need to do some yoga.
Yeah, and at some point, our friend Seth joined shortly after. I think it was because his parents wanted him to spend time with us and also give him something to do. Seth was a bit chubbier than us. But that's I do remember
way to describe him.
Yeah,
a little pudgy around.
He was
the edges.
a little chubbier, but I will say he was into it. Yeah, he was into it way more than we were. Mm-hmm. It was like in his mind, he's always. I mean, at a younger age, he had like these really epic ideas of grandeur. So, like when he would like punch in half one of those pre-broken boards that you can put back together. In his mind, he was like punching down a brick wall. You know what I mean?
Going back before Taekwondo, how we knew we kind of became friends with Seth was he was really into Star Wars.
Yeah.
And we had some like plastic lightsabers, but we would make like wooden like weapons, like swords and things. We would craft like a sword out of wood.
And we've talked about that.
Yeah, and so he would come over for piano practice, and because I guess our sister taught piano, our older sister, and so he would come over and he would like have his like wooden sword.
That was the start of our friendship with Seth.
Yeah, he would have his wooden sword and his plastic lightsaber, and he was like, "I'm a Jedi."
There's also a funny time where for his birthday, we carved out this little dagger for him. I don't remember if we've told this on the podcast. He'll watch this and he'll feel embarrassed, but it's a good story.
It is. I mean, dude, you're like 9 or 10, maybe.
Yeah, no shame, man. It's happened. This happened to me kind of at work, and it happened to you a few weeks ago.
And I told it on this podcast.
Yeah. So, but pretty much what happens, he was over for piano practice. He was done. We were hanging out, playing with this dagger that we made him for his birthday. And he always, when he was younger, he always wore jeans.
A little too tight.
A little too tight. As we mentioned, he was a bit chubbier than us. But we loved him for it. For his chubbiness.
Dude, the man could, I remember in high school, the man could twerk with the many of a black girl.
Yeah, for real. He had a booty for days for a white boy. Yeah. I mean, yeah, he had and still does have a nice booty. But he went down, he dropped it or something, and he was bending down to pick it up, and
the dagger.
Yeah, the dagger. And his pants split right in the butthole area.
Yep.
And he was so ashamed. We were giggling. I don't think I had laughed as hard at anything up to that point.
It was definitely like a little kid giggling about just like
so
nonsense.
it's just like us
like
three.
Kid giggling.
So he turns like bright pink, and he's just kind of up going, and me and Joshua are rolling on the floor going, you know. So we're just giggling away, and we couldn't stop laughing. It was the most funny thing. It just, comedic timing was brilliant, and completely accidental.
How do we get from Seth from Taekwondo to ripping his pants?
We're just talking about Seth.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, we're gonna try to have him on the Midnight Special.
Yeah,
and on this podcast at some point.
Hopefully in a couple weeks.
Yeah. So we had a lot of good times when we were younger with Seth, and at Taekwondo. You said that you've seen our old instructor Gary a few times.
Oh, don't say his name.
Gary.
I don't know. He definitely doesn't watch this because he's off doing stuff, but I don't know if like
I doubt he doesn't seem like the kind of guy who's into podcasts.
Well, I'm just saying like someone, because we have a lot of people that know us from around that is a small town. I don't know if they're like how circles go.
I don't care. But Gary, if you see this, you were a silly man. So tell us, you saw him recently.
I did.
When you still lived in South Carolina.
I did. I worked at a Lowe's, and a lot of contractors would come in during the day, like on a regular basis, to buy supplies for like their job site or something like that. Mm-hmm. I saw him on a frequent basis, so I'm pretty sure he was a contractor for some company, or like just a worker for a contracting company.
Gotcha. For those of you who are wondering, we got up to a yellow belt.
Yellow, black.
I don't know how the belts work.
Yeah.
But for some reason in Taekwondo, it's like a yellow with a black strip in the middle. It's like the second point. It's like 2.5.
I think it's
on a
just,
scale of like
I think it's just like you did
20.
better than everybody else. You don't get yellow, but you get yellow black type thing.
Or you don't cause as much trouble during class. So you get a yellow black, and everyone else gets a yellow. So we weren't there very long. We moved to Boy Scouts. And speaking of Boy Scouts, we have another friend who was in Boy Scouts who was a silly dude who got us into many times in trouble regarding telephones.
Yeah. So we were talking about this earlier. You don't remember this as much, but when this was before high school, so like middle school.
Mm-hmm.
Or what's not middle school, but like 7th through
junior high,
kind
of thing.
When we first got our cell phones, I mean, I started working on when I was 14, so it had to be like right at 14.
Mm-hmm.
He had this, like, I don't know if they still have it or not. It was kind of like a Siri type thing, but you can text this certain number. It was like, I don't remember. It was like 262 type thing.
Yeah.
I don't think that was right, but it was something like that. And you could text it and ask it any question. And
it wasn't a smartphone thing.
No, it was just like you sent over text.
Number you can text.
You text this number, any question you wanted, and it would give you a response back.
You know, it's starting to come back to me.
Sometimes it would give you like what is the biggest star, and it would give you a legitimate answer, or you could say dumb things like how many times, or like I don't even know. We would just ask it the dumbest things, like
the most stupidest stuff. We were very when you're a teenage dude and you're with your friends and you're doing whatever the crap you want, and you found a little avenue stream of something you can do that's silly and probably not condoned by parents, but it's okay and it's harmless, then you kind of just live in that and you're real excited to be there. You know what I mean?
So you don't remember this as much, but
we would ask it some crazy questions.
Do you remember any of the questions we would ask it?
I think I remember one or two, but I don't really want to say them.
Okay, because I know what you're talking about, what you're thinking probably too. We're not bringing that up. Okay. Do you have any just memories with Seth or Jake, our other friend?
Well, you wanted to talk about prank calls.
Bad idea.
You don't want to talk about it?
No, I'm saying it was a bad idea.
Oh, yeah, prank
calls.
We'll
talk about it, but it was a bad idea.
The thing is, Jake, did we prank call with anyone else besides Jake? Did we prank call with Tim at one point?
I don't think so.
Jake was younger than us, and he got us in so much trouble.
I have a story with Tim after we talk about this.
Okay. Well, pretty much, there was like 2 or 3 occasions where we prank called people. And Jake, he just had I
think if Seth did, he'd just be too scared. Wait, do you agree?
I don't know. Maybe at that age.
Yeah,
maybe at that age.
Not now.
Not now. I think Seth would be down. But prank calling with Jake was an adventure, and you almost always got in trouble for it.
Yeah, because we weren't slick.
We didn't know how to hide our tracks, and we would call the wrong people.
Yeah.
You know? I don't even know if I want to tell this story. I really don't know if I want to. It was definitely one of our more embarrassing moments, which...
Let's just say it.
Okay, fine.
It's embarrassing, but...
All right, Jake somehow had the phone number to the senior pastor
of the church we
went to, and the church wasn't like 50 people, so it wasn't very big. This church had like 300 people there, so he was a medium size in the conservative realm, a pretty well known pastor.
Yeah. So we decided to prank call him. What did we say? Or did we even get a hold of him?
No, it was Jake who was on the phone.
What did he say?
I don't remember. It wasn't anything bad. It was just the fact that we thought it would be a fun idea to prank call the pastor, probably in the evening.
He's got such a humor.
Probably when he's just trying to relax at home. And we were doing it at our parents'?
I don't remember where we were.
I don't know either. Somehow he knew came from the Wisner's household. Somehow. Because he called
back.
Back.
Yep.
He called our parents. And
I'm curious. Maybe the number that Jake had was like to like the office number to like.
No, it wasn't at the church.
It was his business. Like, I mean, his personal.
It was like his number.
That's a bad idea.
It was we were dumb, man. We were so dumb. But we did it, and it's a part of our development. It's a part of us learning not to do things. But we did it, and they called back. Our parents, I don't know how they figured it out. Maybe they just knew it was us. Maybe it was obvious from our voices. But
they probably heard us giggling and being like, "That's so funny."
And they, our parents is like, you get on the phone and you apologize and to the pastor and his wife.
I remember this because I had to be like, this is this person. I apologize. Hand it to the next person. This is Jake Styling. I apologize. Hand it to the next person. We had to we had to out everybody who's involved.
Do you think that Jake's mom even knew this happened? Because I think one of the biggest motivations for Jake is he didn't have any shame in apologizing. He just knew he didn't want his mom to find out. You know what I mean? But the thing is, so many people are like, I'm sure there's a few people that are like, those Wisner boys get into trouble, you know?
Oh, for sure.
You go over there at a certain age in our life, you go over their house, you're going to get into trouble.
Dyed hair?
Yeah, because we would dye our hair. We were a bit more expressive than other people around us.
Blonde highlights and what?
Yeah, and
which didn't look good. It was poorly
done.
But
dude, we expressed ourselves though, man. We were expressive. Our mom was like, she was slightly hippie-ish in the whole realm of like, wear what expresses you, wear what you
That's
like.
A topic in itself.
But I think Jake was just afraid of getting caught by his mom, and I don't know if to this day Miss Hutto even knows that
and he did
that happened.
Yeah,
and that he had to apologize to the senior pastor. That was a shameful moment. I was full of shame.
Shame. What is the name?
There's a lot of things we could tell about Jake, but where I was going with that is, no, people would come over to our house and talk me and you, the two biggest suckers in the group, into doing something.
We were big dumb suckers.
But the thing is, we had Seth.
Or blow pop suckers. What kind of sucker
we had Seth, Jake, and the Gordons, and all three of them felt liberated when they got to our place for some reason. I mean, maybe the Gordons just lived in liberation, but especially especially Jake and Seth, when they came over, it was like, I can get away with whatever I want. I'm at the Wisners. I'm with Joe and Josh. We can do whatever the crap we want, you know?
Yeah.
And we just went along with it because we're like, oh yeah, sure. We believe in that.
It's true. We also, with Jake, there was a time where we had this pet wild turtle that we found. His name was Fluffy.
A turtle.
Fluffy, yes. Box turtle. Wasn't snapping, so that's good.
Yeah.
But I remember there was kind of a couple different turtles that we had with Jake. That was like, we found them, we named them like Fluffy Jr., Fluffy Senior. It was like, do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
The evolution of Fluffy.
Yeah, there was multiple Fluffies.
And I remember eventually we made like this video releasing one of them, and it was like Chariots of Fire, and it was like the song Chariots of Fire.
Yeah.
You were releasing this turtle, and we kind of just did like a slideshow of all the turtles we had that were Fluffies.
Oh yeah, I remember that. And it was pretty much just me laying it down next to a creek bed.
Yeah, and be like, go have a life.
Go have a life outside of us.
And I remember the first turtle, Fluffy, the original. One day, Jake had him in a box. We went over to his house. The next day, Jake's like, he's gone. I don't know where he went. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
He must have got out of the box and escaped.
I remember that.
And we had no clue where he went because he was in a box.
There was something about Jake that I'm sure he's still the same way. He was really passionate in the moment, but his follow through was not great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we would all be passionate about this one thing, and he'd be passionate with us, but like if he had to take care of a turtle, all of a sudden he didn't take care of it, you know what I mean? Or if we wanted to make a video or a movie, but it wasn't done like that same day, he lost interest.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So we were always getting frustrated with Jake because he was never as committed to an idea as we were.
Yeah.
What was the story with Tim?
Well, I was just going to bring up like the Tom and Huck phase we had.
That could be a long...
Yeah. So let's say that for another
topic. What time
topic.
Are we at?
We're at past 20. So you
Okay.
want to close it?
I'll close us out. We have to remember...
Yeah.
We're going to talk about our Tom and Huck phase.
Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn.
We also need to talk about Black Pirates, if we haven't already.
We have a little bit, yeah.
We also need to talk about... we need to talk about our beginning friendships with the Gordons. I think that's a big story we should talk about.
It's coming back to me, yeah.
There's a lot of history with us and the Gordons. Tim, Isaac, Josh, the whole family. So, but we'll talk about that maybe next week.
Yeah.
So thank you guys so much for listening. If you don't know, and you're listening to this on Spotify or watching it on YouTube, we are on both platforms.
We are.
Our regular podcasts, including this one, will be on video form on YouTube,
on Facebook and Instagram too.
We're on there, but we don't
post regularly.
We don't post regularly.
Yeah.
If you want to keep up with us, follow us on Spotify and subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's going to be where you keep up with us the most. Yeah, follow us on those two places. We really appreciate you guys watching. We really appreciate you guys hanging out with us, listening to us ramble about our past experiences, and never really giving you a great ending to each story we told. Just kind of when that happened. So, yeah, we appreciate you guys listening.
If you were a part of any of those stories, give us a comment down below how you're a part of them. Yeah. We might have left out characters in it or people that were involved.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking the prank call, there was someone else there. But I don't want to say because I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
And
just let us know if you have
involved.
if you know us personally and have a memory that you'd like us to talk about and reminisce or tell a story about. Just leave it in the comments, or you can
send us a personal message.
Send us a message, a text or something. All right. Thank you guys
for watching,
and
have a good day.